Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle-aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long-term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin, and I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Happy Tuesday if you're listening to this on Tuesday. And yeah, I had an interesting weekend. I actually had my run-in with COVID and felt all in all pretty good. I had a sore throat for 2 days. So that was about it. Energy, everything else felt fine. And so, yeah, it was about a 2 to 3 day battle with a sore throat. Other than that, I was good to go. So truly blessed. And yeah, now time to move on. Enjoy the summer, right? So I wanted to touch on a topic I touched on, I think, at the end of last year, talked about cold exposure. And mainly because, especially with the summer coming up, obviously temperatures are going up. Maybe this will prompt you to give cold plunging a try because, you know, in the dead of winter, when it's 20 degrees outside, no one really wants to go into a cold, cold bath or even do a cold shower. But now that the temps are up, it might be a little bit harder to make a cold plunge because the temperature of the water is obviously warmer in your house, but it's more than doable. It might take a little time and effort. As you know, I put a cold plunge in my house last year. Best thing I've done, honestly, my favorite thing in the entire house, no doubt. And it's the reason I love talking about it is because there's not many things you can do that you get an instant effect from, right? If you think about it, you know, obviously this is a huge supplement industry and there's a lot of things we talk about. Oh, you know, you want to maybe supplement in vitamin D with K2 if you're not getting, you know, especially if you live in the Midwest and this and that. But you know, a lot of times you can't tell the difference unless maybe even you look at stuff on a blood test and get some analysis back. But with the things that I try to find for you guys is things that can just make the biggest impact with the smallest like effort. And what's better than a cold plunge? I think it's the greatest. I really do think it's truly one of the greatest health hacks we could dial into. And I probably wouldn't have said that a year ago. But there are so many things that it can do. And I wanted to just touch on some of the benefits. Again, I can tell you from personal use that this is something that, for one, can increase your happiness right off the bat. Right off the bat, cold plunging can make you happy. I'm a happy individual. I'm so blessed. I have many great things to be grateful for. But I can tell you this rush of norepinephrine that you get from the plunge, especially when you're done with it, it just carries throughout the day. And it's almost like I want to just say like a calm happiness that you get from it. And norepinephrine it's just, if you don't know, it's a naturally occurring chemical that happens in the body. It acts as both a stress hormone and a neurotransmitter. So it helps regulate mood, anxiety, other functions. And it helps mobilize the brain for action. It can help improve energy, I can tell you that, and attentiveness. So if you're someone that maybe is affected by some type of depression or anxiety disorders, you know, this is something I really think before, you know, you just jump into getting some type of prescription drug. It's a great hack is cold plunging. And so I really, you know, I can tell you from experience that, you know, you sort of embrace and you breathe through the shock of the cold. It's just a daily mood booster. So I am truly all in on that. So that was the first thing I wanted to touch on regarding cold plunging was, you know, increasing happiness. There's some studies out there that it can help boost immune system. And I will say, I mean, I had COVID. I will tell you, I felt like I handled it all in all pretty well. And I think a lot of that partly is just because a lot of the lifestyle choices that I've made over not just a year, over years that help me combat it. And if anything, if you can tell my voice, that's about it. Voice, little sore throat, done. The effects of cold water have been studied on the immune system, and it can help boost what's called your white blood cell count by forcing the body to react to changing conditions. So your body pretty much gets better at activating these defenses. So extremely beneficial regarding boosting immune system. It can help combat inflammation, even arthritis. And if I'm assuming a lot of my audience is middle-aged and getting up there, like ways to reduce joint pain and inflammation, I mean, that should be top of the list. And cold plunges can definitely counteract the side effects of even just muscle soreness and overusage, pain and tightness. So what happens when you go into a cold environment is your body constricts its blood vessels and will help reduce swelling and inflammation to certain areas of the body. So the cold can also actually numb the nerve endings and act as a pain reliever as well. So a lot of pro athletes obviously are using this. This has obviously been used for a long, long time, but that probably doesn't get talked enough about. So next, I want to talk about boosting metabolism. This is obviously still out and about as far as, there's some studies showing that cold plunging can actually maybe even help aid weight loss. I would say that first and foremost, losing weight takes more than just cold plunging. So don't just rely on that. But what happens is it could almost make your body more efficient, and your metabolism actually can get revved up by going in the cold, and increasing burning of what's called white fat, which is like your bad fat. You got your good fat, which is like your brown fat. And so what happens is cold exposure forces your body to sort of rev up your metabolism and get the energy needed for heat generation, because your body's in sort of the survival mode, and it needs to work that much harder to generate heat. So it can increase the burning of what's called white fat. So that is another great reason, boosting the metabolism, improving circulation. So essentially, cold water immersion stimulates blood flow. What happens is you immerse your body into this cold water. The blood rushes to your vital organs, right? And it's sort of an interesting feeling. Like when you're in the cold plunge, in the beginning, it's this shock, but then after a while, there's like this warmth that comes over you, because your body is so efficient, and it's in survival mode. So your heart is pumping more efficiently, and it's pushing blood through all your vessels, but it's going to the vital organs, right, for survival. And so you start to just sort of become like warm in this cold environment. It's sort of a cool feeling. And then when you get out of the environment, what happens is the blood will flow back out, and it will look for areas that are maybe inflamed, and help help with any type of inflammation that has occurred anywhere else throughout the body. So improving circulation, something called a lymphatic drainage. So you have a lymphatic system, and this is a network of vessels that runs throughout your entire body. So what it does, it transports waste bacteria and toxins away from your cells. It's like almost like a garbage removal service, and effectively removes anything unwanted. So it's important to sort of keep your lymphatic system circulating properly. And sometimes when it's not circulating properly, we can get colds and have infections and build up toxins in the body. So exercising is one way of keeping your lymphatic system circulating correctly, but cold plunging is another way. And it sort of gives your lymphatic system this sort of reboot. And so you can start recirculating and help to get rid of the waste products out of your body. So that's another great reason. Also, stimulating what's called the vagus nerve, exposing your body to these acute cold conditions, and this could be plunging or cold showering, increasing stimulation of the vagus nerve, and it helps your body adjust to the cold, so sympathetic activity declines and your parasympathetic activity increases, which goes back to helping your improvements in mood, pain management, well-being, and resilience. A few more benefits are, one of them is thermogenesis, cold thermogenesis. And I touched on this already. Sort of, this is your body be able to create, your body's ability to create heat when it's cold, when it's exposed to cold water. So it's cold thermogenesis is, sometimes they'll say, you're sort of burning more calories because you're trying to keep your body warm and your body's in that survival mode. So that's another one. And lastly, excuse me, is heightens your discipline and focus. And this does go back to, just becoming happy. But also one thing that I love about the cold plunge is it sort of kills two birds with one stone, in the sense that you are in this, you're going through this like somewhat survival mode, right? Your brain thinks that things are not going well, or you're in this cold environment, so you're in this survival mode. Your focus becomes laser focused, and so your mind, it's almost like a mindfulness practice a little bit, right? Because you're in this environment that is not comfortable, and you have to breathe and focus on your breath and just become one with like being present. You're not worried about, what someone said to you 20 minutes ago, or what you have going on at work or with family. So it does bring you into this present moment and being mindful, and heightens your discipline and focus. So, that is such a great thing, especially if you're not into meditation. And I do recommend meditation, but this sort of kills two birds. Hey, you can do some cold plunging, and it's a form of meditation where you can sort of stay present and not focus on what happened in the past or what's going on in the future. So that's what I wanted to touch on today. Figured it'd be a good topic to go through again, because I really think it's one of the greatest hacks for all the reasons I just mentioned above. And it's a mind-body overall experience that I think is worth going through. Every time I bring it up with people, they're like, "Oh, you're crazy, this and that." Well, there's a reason. There's a whole community out there that are living and breathing this, and I think these are a lot of the reasons why, is the benefits that I mentioned today. So if you have questions, or you want to know ways maybe to sort of make your own cold plunge, let me know. My buddy Brad Kearns has a great video on YouTube where he goes through how he built his. I think he's out in California. I know he's out in California, and he built it on the side of his house, but it wasn't anything crazy and expensive, and he's able to go in it when need be. So let me know if you have any questions, and you can email me, brian@briangrin.com. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.